In this video, I'm going to teach you how to feel rich without spending any money. Hey everybody, welcome to Judee Rallos TV, the place to be where we talk about business, productivity, and going after the life that we aspire. My name is Judee, and I am the CEO of virtualasting.com, which is an outsourcing company for virtual assistants in the Philippines. If you want to learn more about virtual assistants, or if you want to hire a virtual assistant, please subscribe to this channel because we will teach you, and also we train people in the skills that is needed in this business. So anyway, today I'm going to talk about something that really is close to my heart. And it's about a topic that is quite sensitive for me because I've had, ups and downs in my life financially. But I'm going to talk about how to feel rich without money. So in the span of the time that I've been an entrepreneur, there have been ups and downs. Mostly ups because I really enjoy, the kind of freedom, I guess, that is afforded by the business that I run. But there was a time a few years ago that I was not in a great place, and I would admit that. At this time, because I wasn't mentally healthy, I would say, at this time, I had some self-doubt and I had some personal issues. It quickly trickled into my financial health, and I wasn't showing up anymore with my business. That eventually, from earning around like 700K to $1 million in a month, as what I was earning at that time, from what I was doing, I really hit rock bottom, literally rock bottom, because I no longer had that desire to work. And it wasn't laziness, it was really this bottomless pit of emptiness, of self-doubt, not having that will to live. And of course, when you're in that mental state, you're not gonna actually want to hustle and live your best life, go for your goals. And eventually I became poor. So from somebody who you can say is financially comfortable, suddenly even spending 1,000 pesos on basic stuff became difficult for me. There was even a time that I had to scrimp my money because I had to buy groceries. And what can you really buy from 500 pesos, And I remember that time because it was quite painful. This is actually the first time that I'm gonna talk to people about it in public. But when you're counting your coins and you're thinking should I just walk home so that I can buy more, something like that. And that was also a time wherein if you are if you used to be wealthy, if you used to have money and then you become poor, it's such a hard transition. Suddenly, you can't just buy, you can't just buy the bag that you want. You can't just buy you can't just go to a restaurant and not think about ordering the most, the cheapest thing on the menu. I wasn't used to that. But then when that moment happened though, somehow in retrospect, it was the most humbling experience, not because, it was difficult, but because it was humbling to realize that there were things that money just cannot buy. It was also an eye-opening experience because when you're in that state of lack and of not having a lot of money, you realize actually that you do have some abundance. And this is what my video is about. It's not really just to share that I was so poor at that time. So anyway, how exactly does one feel rich without money? My first tip would be to appreciate nature. You see, nature is for free. What I would usually do at that time, because I started to realize that, even when you're poor, you don't really have to feel bad all the time. And when I started to, look outside the window and look at the sky, I would often feel this overwhelming sense of wonder, because I realized that despite my financial situation, I'm living in a wonderful world, that it's beautiful. And like those fluffy clouds, I feel like I'm in a palace of God's creation. And that's beautiful, right? I remember walking around our neighborhood. It's a very simple neighborhood. And I would look at the plants, because before then I never really noticed plants. And I started to even look at the grasses. I started to look at the flowers. I started to look at leaves. And I realized, what a wonderful God. Being able to engineer these plants to grow simultaneously through seasons, through time, even in these fields that nobody's really tending. Isn't it amazing that these things are growing in the ground? And most of all, because at that time I didn't have a pet, but I started to feed the stray animals. And I feel like crying right now, but I remember finding these kittens and helping them, tending to them. Some of them died. But I realized that we're not the only ones living in this world. There are animals who need us. There are animals who exist and coexist with us. And I guess I was able to really, look into the eyes of these animals and saw that there was beauty in the world. And for me, that was such a wonderful experience. An experience that I did not ever experience in any zoo that I have traveled to in the places that I've been in the world. Number two, or my tip number 2 is use the good china. What do I mean by this? Have you noticed that you have like this china cabinet in the house and you never somehow use them? And what I did, because I was feeling like, very poor, was I started to use the good plates. I started to use wine glasses for water, even for just drinking water, for just drinking milk. I would use my really nice teacups and like my tea set that my mother gave me. And I don't know, I feel like when I use these things, I feel like a princess. Even if I just put tang juice or like tablia or Nescafe 3-in-1, but I'm using my teacups, I feel like $1,000,000. And for me, that's a shortcut to feeling rich without really spending a lot or without spending money. Number 3 is, if there's one thing that I missed when I was, in that very poor state, was eating out at restaurants and being able to afford like anything that I wanted. And what I did was to learn how to cook meals that would rival the menu in the restaurants. I I would buy like certain cuts of meat, and it's I wouldn't even have to buy like an entire kilo of these meats. I can just, let's say, buy one half of it if I can't afford it. I will cook it. I will plate it really nicely, and it wasn't even for the benefit of the gram. I wasn't even taking pictures of these foods. I just wanted to experience them with my senses, looking at the table, looking at, hey, I did this and I didn't have to spend much. Like, for example, instead of spending, let's say, you know, a really, let's say, a really a yummy meal of, let's say, roast chicken with your favorite like side dish, and usually that would cost like, let's say, upwards of 600 in restaurants, or 600, 700. You just have to buy, you know, spring chicken for like 80 pesos or 100 pesos and roast it yourself and plate it, and with a cup of rice and potatoes. It looks really nice, and you realize I am fortunate. It's really about the way that you look at things and feeling the abundance that has always been there. Another thing is, I learned how to give myself my own spa treatments. I used to, like, before I was in that bankrupt state, I used to enjoy spa treatments, expensive ones. I always had somebody who would do my nails, do my waxes, do like laser treatments, do my skin, my nails, scrubs, whatever. And I realized that, these scrubs, you can actually just concoct them in the kitchen. You can make them on your own, and you can carve time at your convenience at home. You just light some candles and make a whole ritual out of it. And I tell you, it's even better than these spa treatments that, even right now, when I am really enjoying so much more in abundance and money, I still do them by myself, especially obviously that we're in quarantine. Next is, this is one of my favorites, but I play classical music and pretend that I'm royalty while I'm doing mundane tasks. Let's say I have to clean the house. This is my guilty pleasure, but I play some Chopin or Beethoven, Mozart, and things like that. I play all these favorites that I've been playing as, a child, because I used to do piano. I just play them on my Spotify, and I feel like I'm in a castle somewhere. Another thing is travel. Now, what do I mean? Obviously, travel, when you're doing it internationally or even just domestically, it takes money, right? But for me, even just walking on foot on our neighborhood, or let's say I do my jogging in IT Park, not spending on anything, literally walking from my house to IT Park and maybe riding a Jeep back home. It didn't have to cost anything. And I felt good, I felt like I traveled because I'm experiencing all these sights and sounds and experiencing my own neighborhood and my own city. Tip number 7 is pray. Tell God how thankful you are for the life that you've been given. For me, this is one of those really important tips, because every time I'm feeling like, we all have those residual feelings of self-pity. But then I look up to the sky and I see the clouds again, how majestic they are. And I can't help it. I say, thank you, because I'm alive, because I see that despite everything, you are there. I am loved. Whether anybody else loves me, but what matters is that you love me. You know? I feel like I'm crying. I don't know. This is such an emotional topic for me because it's very dear to my heart and very private, I guess. And lastly, my number eighth tip would be is to dream. You know, to dream is for free. To dream wonderful dreams, to dream of places that you have yet to explore, and to even have that glimmer of hope that you will get there someday. It doesn't have to be now. It's so precious. The tip is to not feel like it's a competition with anybody else. The tip is to not feel envy towards others, but it's just allowing yourself to feel these exalted emotions that there are possibilities that you have yet to live out in your life. And that for me is the sweetest thing. Okay, I don't mean to be all emotional in this episode, but I hope you get what I mean. I was in that slump for around, I believe, a year. Thank God I wasn't poor for more than a year. But it was not just the hardest year of my life, but it was also the most healing year of my life because I was able to rid myself from that ego of thinking that money is what makes me a valuable person. And it was also the year that I realized that although money is something that helps me give an impact or like be of help to the community, but regardless if I have money or not, I am whole, I am blessed, and I am loved. And for that, I thank God for everything. Okay, that's enough. So thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope that you learned something, and I'm so sorry for ranting so much, but you all have a great day, and you take care. Bye.